Most people think discipline is about being strong. Stronger than temptation. Stronger than laziness. Stronger than distractions. But what if discipline has almost nothing to do with strength at all? Think about it. Why can some people wake up early every day, go to the gym, build businesses, save money, stay focused, and keep promises to themselves, while others genuinely want to change but somehow keep falling into the same patterns again and again? It's not because one person is superior. And it's not because the other person is weak. What's actually happening is much more interesting. Your brain is constantly trying to protect your energy, avoid discomfort, and chase immediate rewards. Discipline begins the moment you understand that your mind was never designed to make you successful. It was designed to make you comfortable and safe. That changes everything. Because suddenly, your lack of discipline stops looking like a character flaw, and starts looking like a system problem. Every time you say, "I'll start tomorrow," your brain feels relief. Not because tomorrow is better, but because postponing removes tension right now. Your mind loves immediate emotional relief. That's one of the biggest reasons discipline is so difficult. The brain often values feeling good now more than succeeding later. And once you see that, you start noticing it everywhere. You open your phone for just a minute, and suddenly 45 minutes disappear. You tell yourself you'll eat healthy tomorrow because ordering junk food tonight feels easier. You avoid difficult conversations. You delay projects. You skip workouts. Not because you don't care about your future, but because your brain keeps choosing short-term emotional comfort over long-term growth. That's the hidden battle behind discipline. And here's something most people never realize: motivation and discipline are almost opposites. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is behavioral. Motivation says, "I feel ready." Discipline says, "Do it anyway." That's why motivation feels powerful but unreliable. It depends on mood, energy, inspiration, sleep, stress, weather, emotions, confidence, and momentum. Discipline works differently. It removes negotiation. A disciplined person is not someone who always feels motivated. Usually, it's the opposite. They simply stop asking themselves how they feel before taking action. That's a massive psychological shift. Because the moment you start waiting to feel like it, you unknowingly give your emotions control over your life. And emotions change constantly. One of the biggest myths online is the idea that disciplined people have stronger willpower. Research and behavioral psychology suggest something surprising instead. Highly disciplined people often rely less on willpower because they reduce decision fatigue. They create systems. For example, someone who exercises consistently may not wake up excited every morning. They just laid out their clothes the night before, created a routine, and removed friction. Someone who eats healthy doesn't necessarily have superhuman self-control. They simply stop buying certain foods, making the bad choice harder to access. Discipline becomes easier when the environment supports it. That's important because many people are trying to build discipline while constantly surrounding themselves with distraction, temptation, chaos, and inconsistency. Imagine trying to focus deeply while your phone keeps buzzing every 3 minutes. Or trying to save money while constantly watching people online showing luxury lifestyles. Or trying to feel confident while comparing yourself to everyone else all day long. Your environment silently shapes your behavior more than you think. And this leads to another uncomfortable truth: discipline is deeply connected to identity. People rarely act against who they believe they are. If someone secretly believes they are lazy, inconsistent, or incapable, they will unconsciously protect that identity. Even when opportunities appear, they sabotage themselves because success starts feeling unfamiliar. That's why small promises matter. When you tell yourself you'll wake up early and you don't, your brain notices. When you say you'll work out and quit halfway, your brain notices. When you constantly break agreements with yourself, something dangerous happens: self-trust starts collapsing. And once self-trust disappears, discipline becomes incredibly hard because deep down, you stop believing your own words. But the opposite is also true. Tiny wins rebuild identity. Making your bed. Going for a 10-minute walk. Finishing one task. Reading 5 pages. Keeping one promise. Small consistent actions quietly tell your brain, I'm becoming someone who follows through. That's how discipline actually grows. Not through giant dramatic transformations, but through repeated evidence. Most people underestimate consistency because consistency feels boring. We live in a world obsessed with intensity. Extreme transformations. Extreme motivation. Extreme routines. Extreme success stories. But real discipline is often repetitive and unexciting. And that's where most people fail. Not because the goal is impossible, but because they become emotionally tired of repetition. The gym gets repetitive. Healthy eating gets repetitive. Studying gets repetitive. Building a business gets repetitive. Healing gets repetitive. But repetition is exactly what creates results. There's a strange moment that happens when someone finally becomes disciplined. They stop romanticizing achievement and start normalizing effort. That's powerful. Because successful people are not always more talented. Often, they simply became comfortable doing boring things consistently for longer periods of time. And maybe one of the deepest psychological shifts behind discipline is learning to separate feelings from actions. You can feel tired and still act. You can feel anxious and still move forward. You can feel unmotivated and still begin. Most people think emotions must change before action happens. But many times, action changes emotion. You don't gain confidence and then start. You start, and confidence slowly appears afterward. That's why waiting for the perfect emotional state keeps people stuck for years. Another important part of discipline is understanding dopamine. People often misunderstand dopamine as pleasure, but it's more connected to anticipation and reward-seeking behavior. Modern life overloads the brain with easy dopamine, endless scrolling, notifications, junk food, streaming, short videos, instant entertainment. Your brain adapts to constant stimulation. And once that happens, slower rewards start feeling painful. Reading feels harder. Deep work feels harder. Patience feels harder. Silence feels uncomfortable. Discipline partly means retraining your brain to tolerate delayed gratification again. That's why difficult tasks feel emotionally heavy at first. Your brain wants faster rewards. But here's the fascinating part, the more you practice discipline, the more your brain adapts. Tasks that once felt impossible slowly become normal. At first, waking up early feels terrible. Later, it feels automatic. At first, exercise feels exhausting. Later, not exercising feels strange. At first, focused work feels painful. Later, distraction feels irritating. Your brain is always adapting to what you repeatedly do. That means your current habits are literally training your future mind. And maybe that's the biggest realization of all. Discipline is not punishment. It's training. You are teaching your mind what to normalize. Every action becomes a vote for the type of person you are becoming. And no, nobody does this perfectly. Even disciplined people fail sometimes. They procrastinate. They lose focus. They get tired. They have bad weeks. The difference is they don't turn temporary failure into personal identity. Undisciplined thinking says, I failed, so maybe I'm just not capable. Disciplined thinking says, I slipped, now continue. That mindset matters more than people realize. Because life is not won by perfection. It's won by recovery speed. How quickly can you return after distraction? How quickly can you restart after failure? How quickly can you continue after losing momentum? That's where real discipline lives. Not in never falling, but in refusing to stay down. And maybe, deep down, discipline is really about self-respect. Because every time you consistently do difficult things that improve your future, you send yourself a silent message. My future matters. That changes the relationship you have with yourself. You stop seeing discipline as restriction and start seeing it as freedom. Freedom from impulsive decisions. Freedom from emotional chaos. Freedom from constantly depending on motivation. Freedom from becoming controlled by distractions designed to consume your attention. And maybe the strangest part is this. The things you avoid today because they feel uncomfortable, often become the exact things that create confidence, peace, and pride later. The workout. The hard conversation. The focused work session. The new habit. The uncomfortable beginning. Discipline often feels hard in the moment but creates ease later. Lack of discipline feels easy in the moment but creates difficulty later. Every day, people are unconsciously choosing between those two paths. And the truth is, your life is not shaped by rare dramatic decisions. It's shaped by repeated daily behaviors that seem insignificant while they're happening. That's why discipline changes lives quietly before it changes them visibly. At first, nobody notices. Then suddenly, years later, everyone wonders how you changed so much. But you know the truth. It was never one giant moment. It was the small choices nobody saw. The moments you continued when you didn't feel like it. The moments you stayed consistent without immediate results. The moments you chose growth over comfort. And maybe that's what discipline really is. Not becoming a different person overnight. But proving to yourself, one action at a time, that your future is worth fighting for. If this helped you understand your mind better, subscribe for more videos like this.